Playing a ballad with brushes is an essential skill, especially if you want to play more gigs with musicians and get paid to do so. So if you're looking to work as a drummer and pay your bills playing gigs and playing sessions, a ballad with brushes is bound to come up. There are thousands of ballads with brushes, and you might show up to the gig and you might have to play Misty or Round Midnight or Body and Soul, or the list goes on and on and on. But if you don't feel comfortable laying this down, it's going to be a very challenging and very uncomfortable situation to be in if you don't feel comfortable laying down a ballad with brushes. Sometimes as drummers, we get to the gig and we've got a challenging load in, and you might be playing a wedding or you might be playing some kind of party, and you get in and you sit down and the gig's about to start and you're like, yeah, all right, great. We're going to let off some steam and get to play a little bit. Well, maybe not. Maybe you have to start off by playing very quietly for a cocktail hour, and the bride or the father of the bride have already come up and talked to the band leader and said, you know, hey, we're really going to want to be able to hear ourselves talking. So can you make sure that the band's not too loud? And, you know, that's all cool and that's great. But as a drummer, especially if you've got a lot of energy and you really want to hit the drums, you know, you may not get to hit the drums for a while. You may have to sit down and play a ballad for the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and, you know, maybe a series of ballads. So having this in your arsenal is going to really be in your best interest, and I advise you to start checking this out now. One of the things that I've picked up by seeing Jeff Hamilton in clinic is he talks about the thought of just giving yourself a hug to start to understand the most basic brush movements. Now, you could put your right hand on top of your left, or you could put your left over your right. But to get started thinking about the brushes, you can start thinking about this inward hugging motion. So now we're going to pick up the brushes, and then you want to place them on the head. And then now what we'll start doing is thinking about that hugging motion, but we're going to be doing this on the head of the drum. So I like to start thinking about making circles and putting the right hand on top of the left and just making simple circles. So one of the things that I like to do when playing a ballad is to make sure that the time is audible and that it doesn't just sound like an ocean without any kind of time. You want to make sure that you can spell out the time for the rest of the musicians. So what you want to do is think about putting a little push at the top of your circle to make sure that you get a nice little definition in the quarter note. So what you want to make sure that you don't do is just have it sound like a bunch of white noise to where there is no definition in the time. So don't do this. That last example is okay, but you want to give the musicians and the listeners something to latch onto. So I like to put that little push to define the time at the top of the quarter notes. A lot of ballads are in the 60 beats per minute range, and if you're not used to playing at that tempo, it can feel really slow. So I like to subdivide, and if you're playing eighth notes with your left heel, like I like to do, then what you're really doing is playing quarter notes at 120 with your heel. So that's eighth notes at 60 equals quarter notes at 120. And what's at 120? Well, Sousa marches. So a very popular tune to think of when you're thinking of that 120, 60 beats per minute range is just think of the march. Bum, 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 ba, da, 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 da. A one, a two, a three, and shack. So now, playing at that tempo, I'm going to go into a march so that you can see that they're really the same tempo. And if you can feel that internally, and then also give yourself an external mechanism where you're mechanizing the time with your left heel, then you can really lock into this tempo without it feeling so slow. This is just an abbreviated lesson that I'm presenting on YouTube. I have a full lesson on this that has notation on the screen and also has a downloadable PDF, and that's available at Stanton Moore Drum Academy. You can check that out and all of the material that I've been filming and presenting over the last 5 years. And there's a 14-day trial, so you can try it out risk-free and see if the Academy is for you. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you are notified when I am posting new lessons, which I will be doing a lot of. So thank y'all very much for watching, and I appreciate your time, and I'll see you down the line.